The best and worst attachments for every gun in Arc Raiders, starting with the Ferro. Much like how your father is never going to care about coming back with the milk, the Ferro is never going to care about recoil or dispersion. Mainly because you need to manually reload the Ferro every time after firing a shot, so why would it matter at all? And because that is the case, for our muzzle mod, we can immediately throw both the compensator and the muzzle brake right into the trash. Instead, you should pick between the extended barrel and the silencer. Extended barrel is cool for really long range shooting, but I like the silencer. I don't like drawing a lot of attention to myself. Reminder, after the recent weapon durability changes, uncommon tier weapons break down way faster than before. Therefore, maybe go with the silencer 2 over the 3. Otherwise, that Ferro gonna get Thanos snapped away after only a handful of shots. Regarding the underbarrel, we get into a really weird situation for the Ferro because no option really helps the gun at all. The angled grip 3, the horizontal grip, and the vertical grip 3 all help reduce your recoil, which the Ferro doesn't really give a shit about, and they all do so at the cost of harming your ADS speed, which is definitely bad. Meaning you can either skip out completely on using an underbarrel mod, or you can use an angled grip 2 or a vertical grip 2 if you really care about Ferro recoil for some reason. For your stock mod, as I covered in my kinetic converter video, the converter does literally nothing for the Ferro because it makes you shoot faster, which doesn't help at all when your gun only fires one bullet before needing to reload. The stable and padded stock are also equally bad for the Ferro because they help with recoil and dispersion. The lightweight stock is the hands down best pick by a mile. It gives you lightning fast ADS speed at the cost of a little recoil, but who cares? You gotta reload anyway. Here are all my picks to go for and to avoid on the Ferro. Enjoy. The Rattler. The Rattler actually has very respectable recoil management right out of the box, unlike some other guns I could mention. Therefore, while it does appreciate a little recoil help, the one thing it needs a bunch of help with is dispersion. For your muzzle mod, I hard recommend the compensator. The compensator 3 is great, but remember it burns your weapon durability pretty hard, so maybe go with the comp 2 if you're really worried about that. The underbarrel mod situation is weird. Getting better recoil control is great, but the Rattler already has pretty good recoil, and the angled grip 3, horizontal grip, and vertical grip 3 all hurt your ADS speed. The best option to me turned out to be the angled grip 2. It gives you better horizontal recoil, which is harder to control manually, and it doesn't hurt your ADS speed. You can go vertical grip 2 if you want, but again, vertical recoil is way easier to control manually, just pull down as you shoot. For your stock mod, all options are solid. Lightweight stock makes the gun way more snappy, the stable stock makes it a bunch smoother, and the kinetic converter can give you a slightly faster time to kill. My favorite option though was the padded stock. The reduced ADS speed is a bit annoying, but it helps you out with per shot dispersion, and it'll make the Rattler shoot like a laser beam. You can go stable stock though if you're really annoyed with the slower ADS speed. But with that in mind, here are your best and worst weapon mods for the Rattler. The Stitcher. The Stitcher needs two things: horizontal recoil control and dispersion control, in that order. Again, help with vertical recoil is nice, but it's way easier to manually manage vertical recoil. Just pull down as you shoot. For your muzzle mod, extended barrel is 100% a hell no. You don't need faster bullet velocity on a weapon that you're going to be shooting from so close that you can smell your enemy's breath. Your best bet is either a compensator or a muzzle brake. And even though I said we need horizontal recoil control the most, my vote goes for the compensator. And the reason is the other two mods we're going to throw on will help a ton with recoil. So we need something for dispersion control, and that is the compensator. Either 3 or 2, depending on how bad you care about nuking your weapon durability. For the underbarrel, both the horizontal and angled grip are rock solid, but my final vote is for the angled grip 3. Yeah, it technically harms your ADS speed, but the Stitcher is really fast and snappy on its own. I really doubt you're going to notice a difference. For your mag mod, yeah, just an extended light mag 3, no real discussion there. For your stock, the kinetic converter can make you more lethal, but will make the recoil wilder than your college ex, who you should not call, by the way. I am hard voting for the padded stock. Again, it kind of harms your ADS speed, but thankfully the Stitcher feels really snappy, and damn it did it make my gun turn it into a very accurate SMG. Best and worst mod picks are right here. Thankfully, the worst mods is a short list. The Stitcher is kind of like that one awesome guy you're friends with. He meshes well with everybody. The Kettle. Like the Stitcher, the Kettle also needs recoil help and dispersion help, but unlike the Stitcher, I think the Kettle needs help with dispersion more so than recoil. The reticle blooms out insanely wide when you shoot, which is really damned annoying. Therefore, even though the muzzle brake was cool, the compensator 2 or the compensator 3 gets my personal vote for the the muzzle mod. It really helps the kettle from blooming out too hard when you spam the trigger, which it desperately needs. For the underbarrel mod, all options feel great, but the two that felt the best were the angled grip and horizontal grip. If you're trying to use the best feeling version of the kettle possible, it's probably the horizontal grip, but if you don't want to use too many pink weapon mods on a gray tier weapon, I get it, the angled grip 3 will be fine. For the mag, extended light mag 3, no real discussion there. And for the stock, as I mentioned in my kinetic converter video, either something weird is going on with the kinetic converter kettle, or there is too much room for human error. Either way, F that noise. I would much rather rock the padded stock, which I'm learning I like on a whole lot of weapons, despite the ADS penalty. Makes the whole weapon feel really stable and accurate AF. Best mods for the kettle right here, enjoy. The Anvil. This is kind of like talking about the best moves to use in rock, paper, scissors because our options are very limited. For the muzzle mod, the compensator and the muzzle brake can help about to the same degree that meditation helps me, which is to say very little. The compensator can help keep the accuracy cone from blooming out too far if you're spamming the trigger hardcore, and the muzzle brake for slightly better recoil control. But while they kinda help, neither are incredibly amazing for the Anvil. They'd be way more beneficial if the Anvil fired a bit faster, but it doesn't. The better mods, in my opinion, are the silencer and the extended barrel. The extended barrel is for those who want to shoot more accurately at longer range, and the silencer is just for keeping your shots quieter, which I guess doesn't matter if you're in peaceful kumbaya lobbies, but probably helps a lot if you're in violent PvP lobbies. The only other mod the Anvil can rock is the Anvil splitter, which kind of turns your Anvil into a mini shotgun, hitting 4 little pellets with every shot. I know a few people like it, but I've gone on the record saying that I think the Anvil splitter is a little bit underwhelming, and it's not really for me. Here's the best and worst for the Anvil, in my opinion, short list. The Arpeggio. The Arpeggio appreciates recoil control, but desperately needs dispersion control, meaning the muzzle mod is probably going to come down to a competition between the muzzle brake 3 and the compensator 3. But yeah, shooting fast when using the muzzle brake, yeah, recoil feels better, but dispersion is out of control. It is way more accurate and controllable with the compensator 3. Of course, that all depends on how much you spam the trigger when you shoot. And I mean, hey, I hate the Arpeggio and I'm not going to use it either way, so choose whichever. I'm not that torn up about it. For the underbarrel mod, every option is fine because again, the Arpeggio appreciates recoil control in any form. After trying all the mods, my number one choice was the horizontal grip, but the angled grip is also a-okay. If you feel like you already have a really good handle on the recoil control, you could go for the angled grip 2, which again does not harm your ADS speed. Magazine mod, no contests, extended medium mag 3. For your stock mod, the lightweight stock is a great choice for those who feel like they have a good control on the Arpeggio's recoil. As I mentioned in my kinetic converter vid, take a shot every time I say that today, the converter is weird on weapons that have you spamming the trigger and or burst weapons, and it seemed to either work weirdly or open the door too wide for human error on the Arpeggio. AKA, you're gonna fuck it up, so go pick something else. My final pick is the stable stock, which just felt a hair better than the padded stock. Here's my best and worst picks for the Arpeggio. If you disagree, totally fine, because at the end of the day, I take comfort in the fact that I use better weapons than the Arpeggio. The Burletta. Like the Anvil, the Burletta doesn't have a lot of weapon mod options, which is fine. After spam shooting it for funsies at the practice range, it becomes immediately clear that the Burletta needs help with one thing: dispersion. When you spam the trigger, that reticle gets wider than America's wealth gap, so we gotta tighten that shit up real quick. Believe it or not, the Burletta's recoil is actually really manageable right out the gate. Therefore, for the muzzle mod, I feel like it comes down to two choices: the silencer, if you want to be quiet, sneaky, and kinda James Bondish, or the compensator 3, which helps keep your reticle from blooming out too hard. My pick, shocker, is the compensator 3, which if you're thinking, man, he's recommending that a lot. Yeah, it's really good. Compensator 3 if you want the most benefit possible, or compensator 2 if you don't want to overcook your weapon durability. Also, the Burletta can take a magazine mod, and that choice is obviously the extended light mag 3 because it gives you the most ammo with literally no downside at all. The Toro. The green demon only has two options for the muzzle mod, the first of them being a shotgun silencer, which cuts the noise made by your boomstick by 50% with no downside. Not bad. You can be oddly quiet with your shotty, but remember, there's no guarantee the guy you're shooting full of buckshot won't scream on proxy chat like a tired toddler at a grocery store. The other option is the shotgun choke 3, which reduces your base dispersion, aka makes your accuracy cone smaller and tighter. This is hands down my favorite option. Yeah, you won't shoot quietly, but a tighter spread means it is more likely you will land more pellets on your target, meaning you will be a bit more lethal if you're a tad further away. Nice. For the underbarrel mod, I gotta be honest, none of them really matter. The Toro cares about a few things, and recoil management is not really one of them. Your shotty fires slow enough to the point where it doesn't actually matter. If you really want to, though, you can put on an angled grip 2 or a vertical grip 2 on your Toro for a little extra recoil control that won't hurt your ADS speed, but leaving it completely empty is also fine. Magazine mod, extended shotgun mag 3, end of discussion. And for your stock mod, unlike a lot of other options we've gone over today, padded stock and stable stock are going right into the trash immediately. The Toro does not care about any form of dispersion other than base dispersion, which we get from the shotgun choke. Your two best options are either the kinetic converter for slightly better rate of fire, or my personal vote, the lightweight stock. Ain't nothing wrong with the kinetic converter, but if I want a faster firing shotgun, I'll just go for the Vulcano. The lightweight stock, though, gives you really good handling and damn good ADS speed, and the drawbacks matter very little to the Toro. Therefore, your best and worst mods for the Toro are right here. Choose whichever fits your playstyle the best. The Torrente. Weapon mod options for the big blue machine gun are relatively straightforward, which I like. For our barrel, we can throw out the muzzle brake and the extended barrel right away. Extended barrel goes bye-bye because bullet velocity matters way more for long-range weapons, which the Torrente is definitely not, and the muzzle brake because, believe it or not, the Torrente doesn't really need a ton of help with recoil control. It does need help with dispersion, though, and that is why we are going with the Compensator 3. You can run the Torrente with a silencer, which is definitely hilarious, but if you're shooting enemy raiders, the guy you're blasting into Swiss cheese probably won't be very quiet on the mic, so yeah, Compensator 3 it is. Especially because my weapon durability video showed that the Torrente actually has respectable durability retention for some reason, so I'm okay with the Comp 3 over the less effective Comp 2. Extended medium mag 3, obviously. And stock-wise, the padded stock is okay, but good lord, the handling and ADS penalty makes the Torrente way slower than it already is, which feels bad. Same thing for the stable stock, by the way. Your best two options are the lightweight stock, because again, the default recoil on the Torrente is actually not that bad, or my vote, which is the kinetic converter. If you're just trying to kill another player, the kinetic converter will only shorten your time to kill by a few frames, but if you're trying to empty the entire damn mag, maybe into a large arc, then the kinetic converter can help you do it several seconds faster, which is great. Therefore, my recommended list is here. Do with it what you will. The Renegade. The Renegade has a very clear best attachment by a mile, in my opinion, which we'll get to shortly. For your muzzle, the compensator and the muzzle brake are a no-go. The Renegade cares about dispersion, but only a very particular type. And while better weapon recoil control is nice, the Renegade doesn't really need it because you've got to wait for the gun to cock after every shot, and during that time you can just kind of manually adjust your aim. The extended barrel is cool because it gives you more bullet velocity, so if you're firing over a very long distance, the bullet will get to your target a little bit faster and you got to lead your shot less. But the Renegade already has pretty respectable bullet velocity. You'd have to be shooting from real deep to get a lot of value out of it, which is why I personally like the silencer. Making less noise is always fun, especially when you're in a questionable lobby or flat out playing PvP. The Silencer 3 is great, but if you don't want to demolish your weapon durability immediately, which I don't, I'm going to go with the less problematic Silencer 2. Magazine choice is a non-question, and now for the stock. I was very sure that my choice was going to be the lightweight stock because it makes ADSing very fast and snappy, and I do like that mod. But the stable stock mod 3 is, in my opinion, the clear winner by a mile. I know for a few other weapons we've gone over, the padded and stable stock have almost performed near identically. But for the Renegade, the stable stock's reduced dispersion recovery time comes in huge. With the padded stock, you won't really feel too much of a difference when firing rapidly, but you absolutely do with the stable. Good lord. The accuracy cone retightens so quickly after each shot, it's wild, and it beats every other weapon quite badly, including the kinetic converter, which again, if you've seen my video on the kinetic converter, take a shot, you know it can be a tad finicky on certain weapons and leaves the door open to a lot of human error, including on the Renegade. Here are my recommended options, and again, know that I will always use a stable stock 3 on the Renegade without question from this day forward. Embark would have to invent a new, incredibly wild option to replace that mod for me. And now we come to what will be the oddest weapon on the entire list, the Osprey. Believe me, much like slow dancing with your drunk drunk and at a wedding, it's gonna get weird fast. For your muzzle mod, the compensator and the muzzle brake are both out. As we know very well by now, they help with dispersion and with better recoil, and because the Osprey needs to be cocked after each and every shot, which takes noticeably more time to do than the Renegade, improving either won't really matter. So what we're left with is the extended barrel or the silencer. The extended barrel is nice because it gives you more bullet velocity, so if you're shooting someone way far away, the shot will get there faster. I'm gonna go with the silencer though, because I like making less noise when shooting other players. Be warned though, in my weapon durability video, we went over that the Osprey is now comically fragile, meaning I'm gonna recommend the silencer 2, so the weapon doesn't break the second we touch the goddamn trigger. All right, here's where it gets weird. Regarding your underbarrel, I was originally going to throw all the high-level options in the trash because as the description tells us, they slow down the ADSing speed of your weapon. But at the practice range, my Osprey didn't feel like it was ADSing any slower. So I did a side-by-side, frame-by-frame comparison and found something strange. Weapon attachments do not speed up or slow down the ADS speed when using the Osprey, meaning the ADS penalty on the horizontal grip doesn't kick into effect, nor does the ADS buff on the lightweight stock. It seems that no matter what, your Osprey will ADS at the exact same speed every single time. So I guess that means if you want, you could use any underbarrel mod because it won't really hurt your ADS speed. But on the other hand, they only help your recoil, which the Osprey doesn't care about either. So I guess just leave it empty. And for your stock mod, it's the same situation for the padded stock. Yay, no penalty, but the benefits also don't really help, so who cares? From my kinetic converter video, I mentioned that the KC attachment had literally no effect on the Osprey in any way, so don't use it. Therefore, the winner by default, I guess, is the lightweight stock. And yeah, you don't get the ADS speed benefit from the lightweight stock, but you do get the better equip and unequip time, which I guess is something. You can swap to a different weapon faster if a camping player tries to leap out and rat you, I guess. Anyway, here are the best and worst options for the Osprey, keeping in mind that apparently ADS speed does not matter. Next up, the Venator. We're going to keep this short and sweet because the Venator only has one weapon attachment slot that we really need to have a discussion about because the best mag mod is very obviously the extended medium mag 3. So the one mod slot we can have a discussion about, the underbarrel mod. When firing the Venator as fast as you can, you find out real quick that the only thing it might need help with is horizontal recoil control. Vertical is actually no problem. It doesn't seem to really kick up as you're firing at all. It does kind of jitter to the left and the right a little bit as you mash the trigger though. Therefore, you can rock either the horizontal grip or the angled grip 3 to better help the horizontal kick. Or you can do what I think is the true best option, put on the angled grip 2, which yeah, doesn't help as much, but it doesn't come with a penalty to your ADS speed, which I like. Like I said, short and sweet, love me a non-complicated weapon. The Canto. As you can probably imagine, the Canto really only cares about two things, dispersion and recoil. Therefore, for the muzzle mod, we don't really care about the silencer, and we definitely don't care about the extended barrel. Like most rapid-fire weapons we've gone over today, it's going to come down to either the compensator 3 or the muzzle brake 3. Both are damn good, but even though the Canto's recoil is kinda wild, the compensator is just too good on rapid-fire weapons and is my go-to pick. For the underbarrel, all the options are actually solid as hell, and I genuinely don't think there's a wrong answer here. After trying every option on the table though, my number one pick is for the horizontal grip. The Canto needs help with both vertical and horizontal recoil, and it was the best feeling grip without question. And if you were wondering, the ADS penalty honestly ain't that bad. The Canto is inherently very snappy. For the mag, extended medium mag 3, great in-depth discussion there. And now for stock options. The kinetic converter can mildly improve your time to kill, but man, oh man, does it really destroy your recoil in ways you never even thought imaginable. Fine though if you combine it with something that tames your recoil overall, but after everything, it's gotta be the padded stock. It makes the Canto really manageable and accurate, and I know it's a boring pick for rapid-fire weapons, but yeah, undeniably awesome. And again, I know it has an ADS penalty, but the Canto doesn't mind that much. Here's my official Canto recommendations, but do what you're gonna do either way. The Bettina, and for the record, not my favorite weapon, even after the somewhat recent buffs to the gun. Anywho, the muzzle choice is kind of weird because sometimes players tap fire with the Bettina and other times they hold down the trigger and just go full auto mag dump. If you're a tap fire kind of player, then I think the extended barrel and the silencer are both fine. But if you're a let Jesus take the wheel type as you duct tape the trigger down, yeah, big shock, it is the Compensator 3. The Bettina has moderately janky recoil, but yeah, if you're a full auto kind of guy, the number one thing you need to take care of is definitely dispersion. For the underbarrel, I found the vertical grip does not feel as good as the horizontal or the angled grip. Use whichever between the two feels better, but for me that wound up being the horizontal. But don't sweat it too much, it really felt like there was kind of no wrong answer for that slot, it just felt a little bit better. For your stock, out of every option I tried, it felt pretty close between the stable stock and the padded stock. That being said, I ended up landing on padded. Nothing wrong with the kinetic converter or the lightweight stock, but they janked up the recoil a little bit, and I felt that the smooth, buttery feel of the padded was the hands down winner, so here are my final recommendations. Honestly, other than the vertical grip, which isn't even that bad, everything works pretty fine on the Bettina, don't sweat it. Moving on, the Bobcat. I feel like we all know exactly how this is going to go because the Bobcat is so close in field to the Stitcher, but oh well.
Let's do it again!
Because the Bobcat is a really close range weapon, we don't care at all about the extended barrel. The silencer is also fine, but we really need help with controlling either the Bobcat's recoil or the dispersion, and to me, it once again came down to the Compensator 3. And because the Bobcat is a pink tier weapon with very respectable durability, don't worry about the Compensator 2, you will get plenty of mileage out of the 3. For the underbarrel, like so many before it, managing horizontal recoil is more important than managing vertical recoil. If you feel differently, okay, fine, but yeah, vertical recoil, I can just pull down the weapon kick while I shoot. To me, it's a tie between the horizontal grip and the angled grip 3, do whichever you like. Extended light mag 3, GG easy, and now for the stock. The kinetic converter is neat, but the time to kill on the Bobcat is already really fast. As shown in my other video about the converter, you'd only shave off a few frames in terms of TTK on another player. And speaking of things that would only be a little bit beneficial, the lightweight stock. Yeah, it gives better handling and ADS speed, but the Bobcat already has really good handling and ADS speed. So to me, it all came down to either the padded stock or the stable stock 3. Both of them are damn good at turning the gun into an incredibly accurate laser beam, but the padded stock felt a little bit better to me overall. Here are my overall best and worst picks for the Bobcat. Enjoy. The Hullcracker. The old reliable nade launcher only has room for 2 attachments, one of them being an underbarrel. As you can see here from me firing the gun regularly with nothing on it at all, the recoil on the Hullcracker really does not matter. I'm having zero difficulty maintaining the kick in any way, shape, or form. So I guess if you want to do a vertical or angled grip level 2, not 3, because that way you can buff your recoil with no ADS penalty, you can go ahead and do that, but I'm telling you straight up, you don't need any mod at all on your underbarrel. It does not matter. For your stock, because the grenade launcher does not care about recoil or dispersion, it comes down to 2 options: the lightweight stock and the kinetic converter. I admit that the converter might seem weird on a grenade launcher, but it makes you empty the mag way faster, which is actually nice if you're just mag dumping into a big target like the Queen or the Matriarch. So that's cool, and the lightweight stock just makes your launcher feel snappier with no real drawback at all. Both picks are really great, but overall I would say my number 1 pick would be the kinetic converter, but if you want to go lightweight, yeah, that works fine too. The Tempest. The Tempest only has 3 mod slots, and one of them is for the mag, so this will be on the short side. Because the Tempest is a mid-range weapon, I don't really care about using the extended barrel. I ain't gonna be out here sniping with this damn thing, and neither should you. The silencer is definitely not a bad option. If you feel like you're cool with the default level of recoil and reticle bloom, yeah, you can go with a silencer. Me personally though, I think I'd rather go with either the muzzle brake or the Compensator 3. Even with all the inherent recoil control baked into the gun, the muzzle brake 3 still makes the Tempest feel a bit better when you shoot. But surprise, surprise, the Compensator 3 is my winner because controlling your reticle from getting way too wide is always a great idea on a rapid fire full auto weapon. Besides, we can get extra recoil control with the underbarrel mod, which I'm going with the horizontal grip. Again, even with all that baked in extra horizontal recoil on the Tempest, it still kind of sways from side to side when you shoot, so the horizontal grip feels really good. The angled and vertical grips are also fine, but yeah, horizontal was the winner for me. And because the mag size is not really a discussion, here are my recommendations for the Tempest. Enjoy. The Vulcano. You might think that the Vulcano would have the same best attachments as the Toro, but nah. The Vulcano fires way faster, especially when you've upgraded it to level 4. So unlike the Toro, the Vulcano kinda cares a little bit about recoil. With the muzzle though, nothing changes. The shotgun silencer is undeniably cool, but I much prefer the shotgun choke 3. The pellet spread gets way tighter on the Vulcano, makes things way more accurate, and that is what I want. For the underbarrel, I ended up liking the horizontal grip. It does hurt your ADS speed a little bit, but you don't really notice it, and it helps the Vulcano from bouncing around too much from left to right when you're mashing the trigger. For your stock mod, there's one option I'm going to recommend you hard avoid: the kinetic converter. As I went over in my kinetic converter video, you tired of hearing that yet? Weapons you got to mash the trigger on to shoot faster aren't exactly an ideal pairing with the kinetic converter, and you're really not going to see much of an improvement. I thought I would like the lightweight stock more for the snappier ADS and unequip speed, and it is nice. Feel free to use that if you have a really good handle on the recoil while mashing the trigger. My favorite pick though has got to be the padded stock, which when combined with the other mods on the gun really helped keep the Vulcano extra stable when I was mashing the trigger. At the end of the day, it is 100% your call, but I wound up finding these attachments to be the most valuable on the Vulcano. You do you though. Finally, the Aphelion, which at the time of me making today's video is the only legendary tier weapon in the game capable of actually using weapon attachments. For the underbarrel, honestly, any attachment is fine. The Aphelion's default recoil is manageable, not insane, but yeah, any help we can get is appreciated. I ended up liking the horizontal grip the most, but I wouldn't call you crazy if you went for the angled instead. For your stock mod, yeah, another case where I do not recommend the kinetic converter. Go for it if you like, but burst weapons and the kinetic converter I found don't go well together very much. You really want to use that on a full auto weapon with a deep mag. The padded and lightweight stocks were both fine, but the Aphelion really felt good when using the stable stock 3. Way tighter and more consistent for sure. I wouldn't say it felt as incredible as when I put the stable stock on the Renegade, which was like putting a key into a lock, but yeah, this was pretty good too. I'd say the padded stock would be the runner-up choice, but these are my relatively hard picks for the Aphelion. If you missed my video on what weapons you should and should not use a kinetic converter on, which I've mentioned a metric ton of times in today's video, I'll put that down in the pinned comment. Tell me down in the comment section why you disagree and why you think I'm stupid. Thank you very much for watching. Peace.